Well, let's get some more analysis now with Nameerah Hameed in Sharm el-Sheikh. She's an engagement advisor at the Climate Outreach NGO. Really good to have you with us, Nameerah. Firstly, we've heard world leaders really talk about increasing their action on the climate crisis. But when it comes to money, I think they've been very reluctant to make strong commitments. Indeed, in 2008, 2009, they'd been urged to provide around $100 billion a year to help the developing world tackle the climate crisis. Are you expecting these richer nations to finally foot the bill?
The issue of financial compensation to countries most affected has been intensely debated at these COP27 conversations. For many, whether COP is seen as a success will depend on the progress that we make on finance pledges. And this includes developing a loss and damage finance facility as well. But what we're really keen to see is more focus on the role of the public, because we know from our research that even though implementation and pledges for finance have been very slow and incremental over the past 26 COP, the public is increasingly engaged in urgent climate action. Our recent study shows remarkable numbers. So, for example, our data shows that 81% of people across Europe think that we need to support vulnerable communities within Europe, but also to countries outside of Europe. And that's a very high number. 58% of young people across Europe think that richer countries should compensate in financial ways as well for countries facing loss and damage from climate change. So this tells us that the bigger the public awareness about climate change and the disastrous impacts of climate change, the stronger the mandate for political action, and from that, for stronger and more ambitious financial pledges.
There's some concern that the issue of money may derail progress or firmer commitments at COP27. Are you worried about that the issue of financing reparations might in fact jeopardize any final agreement in Sharm el-Sheikh?
Let's not forget that finance to the global south is the promised 100 billion and more isn't the only finance that's needed. So sometimes the global north may use it as a cop-out. Global north and the industrialized nations also need to put finance into making the clean energy transitions within their economies and within their countries. The concern on action is growing in every corner of the globe. The longer we leave urgent and ambitious responses, the more dire the situation becomes.
And we've still got a little over a week left for the Sharm el-Sheikh summit to wrap up. Are you expecting firm progress when the summit does end?
So decision makers tend to shy away from strong climate action and ambitious pledges because they say that their citizens may not support these ambitious policies and financing. But our data shows that that's actually not true. One of our recent researches shows from European countries that very high levels of support exist for government leaders to take urgent action and address climate change very urgently. And this is very, very critical to putting that political mandate to decision makers. So why isn't this concern being put into meaningful actions within COP27 and outside of it? It's because people aren't being included in decision making enough. So the more we see our citizens being engaged, the more ambitious pledges that we will see coming out of it.
Okay, Nameerah Hameed from Climate Outreach. We will have to leave it there, but great to get your analysis. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.